Hello and welcome back. In this video, we're going to learn about the comparison operators and how we can use them to compare two values. We'll learn how these operators return a Boolean value, and then we'll create some Boolean variables to store the results of some comparisons using these comparison operators. Let's get started. To start, have a look at this comparison operator. It's called equal to, and it looks like two equal signs. The equal to operator takes the value to the left and compares it to the value on the right. Based on the results of that comparison, it returns a Boolean value, either true or false. Now, in this comparison, the double equals is the operator, and the 4 and 9 are its operands, the things that the operator operates on. Together, an operator and its operands form an expression. An expression performs an operation, such as a comparison, and then returns a value. So take a look at this expression. We call this expression 4 is equal to 9. Now, this expression returns a value, and since the value 4 is not equal to 9, this expression returns a value of false. Let's say we've declared a Boolean variable called 4 is 9. Since this expression returns a bool, we can store that return value in our variable using the assignment operator, provided we place a semicolon at the end, since the act of assignment is a statement. Now, the resulting statement might look a bit confusing as we're mixing the use of the assignment operator with the use of the equal to operator. For this reason, programmers often wrap the expression in parentheses to make it clear which values the equal to operator is acting on. So it's very important not to confuse the assignment operator with the equal to operator. The assignment operator assigns values, whereas the equal to operator compares two values and returns a Boolean. We have several comparison operators to satisfy all of our comparison needs. We have equal to, not equal to, less than, greater than, less than or equal to, and greater than or equal to. Let's take a look at another expression. We would read this expression as 9 is less than 9. Now, this expression returns a Boolean value. And if you squint at it hard enough, you'll say, wait a minute, 9 isn't less than 9, that's preposterous. So what Boolean value would this expression return? That's right, this expression returns false, because 9 is not equal to 9. Let's take a look at another one. This expression can be read as 9 is less than or equal to 9. What do you think this expression returns? Now, since 9 is indeed less than or equal to 9, it's equal, this expression returns true. Did you guess right? Let's do one more. This expression would be called 9 is not equal to 9. What Boolean value would this expression return? That's right, it returns false since 9 is equal to 9. So 9 is not equal to 9 is a false expression. So here's your challenge. I want you to create and initialize the following Boolean variables. Make a bool called equal. Use braced initialization to assign a value to it, and for the value in the braces, use the expression 4 is equal to 9 using the equal to operator. Next, create a bool called not equal using braced initialization, and inside the braces, place the expression 4 is not equal to 9. This is what the not equal to operator looks like. It looks like an exclamation point with an equal sign, and this is read as not equal to. Then create a bool called less and initialize it with 4 is less than 9. Then make a bool called greater initialized with 4 is greater than 9. Next, make a bool called less equal, initialized with the expression 4 is less than or equal to 9. And finally, make a bool called greater equal, initialized with 4 is greater than or equal to 9. Now, once you've made your variables, I want you to add comments just above each one with the word true or false. Try to predict the value that each bool will have after being initialized with the result of each comparison. For example, if you think the first variable called equal will be true, comment true just above it. Pause the video and get these variables made and make those comments with your prediction of the values that you think these booleans will have. Okay, so we're back here in VS Code. Now, we still have our variables root beer, cheeseburger, and should have lunch. I'm going to highlight these and delete them since we're not going to use these anymore. So we're ready to create these Boolean variables. I'll start making the Boolean called equal, and I'm going to use braced initialization, and inside the braces, I'm going to use the expression 4 is equal to 9. And I need my semicolon, of course. Next, I'm going to make my Boolean called not equal, and in the braced initialization, I'll place the expression 4 is not equal to 9, and of course, with my semicolon at the end. Next, I'll make my Boolean called less, initialized to 4 is less than 9, with a semicolon at the end. And next, I'll make my bool called greater, initialized to 4 is greater than 9, semicolon at the end. Next, I'll make my bool called less equal, and this will be initialized with 4 is less than or equal to 9. There's my semicolon. And finally, I'll make my Boolean greater equal, initialized with the expression 4 is greater than or equal to 9. And there's my semicolon. Okay, so now for those predictions, I'm going to place a comment above each of these declarations. Now, I know that the value 4 is not equal to 9, so I'm going to put a value of false. That's what my prediction will be. Next, for not equal, I know the value of 4 is not equal to the value of 9, so I'm going to put true since I think that 4 is not equal to 9 is a true expression. Next, for less, since I know the value of 4 is less than 9, I know that the expression 4 is less than 9 is a true expression. Now for greater, I know that 4 is not greater than 9, so I know that this expression will be false. For less equal, 4 is less than or equal to 9. I know that this will be true since 4 is indeed less than 9, so that satisfies this comparison. So I'm going to say true. And finally, for greater equal, I know that 4 is not greater than 9 and it's not equal to 9. Therefore, 4 is greater than or equal to 9 is a false expression, so I will say false. Now we can check these values by running in debug mode and placing a breakpoint. I'm going to place a breakpoint right here on the line where we assign width a value of 350. And so now I can test this out. I'm going to run this in debug mode by going up to Run and clicking Start Debugging. Okay, so we've paused at our breakpoint. And now we can check the values of these variables. Now, I've already shown you how you can hover over a variable to see its value. But there's another way to take a look at the values of the variables in your program. Remember this icon here with the bug symbol and the triangle. Go ahead and click that to expand this panel, and you'll see in this variables section here, we have a list of the variables in our program. Here's equal, and it has a value of false because 4 is equal to 9 is a false expression. So my prediction was correct. It has a value of false. Here's not equal. 4 is not equal to 9 is a true expression because 4 doesn't equal 9. So that's why not equal has a value of true. Now for the variable less. 4 is less than 9 is a true expression. So Of course, this expression returned true and initialized the variable less with the value of true. Now, for greater, we know 4 is not greater than 9, so of course greater was initialized with a value of false. Less equal, 4 is indeed less than or equal to 9, so less equal did get a value of true, as I predicted. And finally, for greater equal, we know that 4 is not greater than or equal to 9, so greater equal was initialized to a value of false. So this panel is a great way to take a look at our variables and observe those variables at various points in our program with our breakpoints. Now, if we have a whole bunch of variables here and it's hard to take a look at all of them and we're only interested in one or two variables, we can watch those variables. You can watch a variable by highlighting that variable, right-clicking, and down here there's an option called Add to Watch. Click on that, and now you'll see that the equal variable is in the Watch section. So if your program gets out of hand with the number of variables it has, and you only want to watch one or two or three variables, you can add those to the watch list. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and click the bug icon to get rid of that panel, and I can end our program by going up to Run and clicking on Stop Debugging. Okay, so in summary, we've learned about comparison operators and how they compare two values and how they return a Boolean as a result based on their comparison. We've learned that an expression is a combination of operators and their operands, the things that operators act on, and that an expression will return a value. And finally, we created some Boolean variables, and we use them to store the result of our comparisons using the comparison operators. We now have more tools in our programming toolbox, and we'll use these tools as we continue to develop our game. See you in the next video.